It's a period when vaccination against the dreaded coronavirus pandemic takes center stage, and Nasarawa State is not left out. The state government had received over 61,000 vaccines out of the 4 million received by the federal government. This would vaccinate about 30,000 residents of the state for the first and second doses. Here, Governor Abdullahi Sule is being vaccinated alongside his deputy. They received the first dose and will receive a second dose in 12 weeks' time.
But all those who are exposed, at the moment, I call on every one of you to use the opportunity to take it. It's like the comedian in the US said, when they first started talking about these vaccines and they say they are not sure about how quick they were able to develop the vaccines, they say that, all right, the best thing is that when it comes, try it on the politicians. If nothing happens to them, then the rest of us can take it. So I think the guinea pig has been me now.
We have just about 61,000 vaccines, doses. This definitely will not be enough or sufficient for Nasarawa State. But we'll have it to authority that in the next few weeks, more vaccines will arrive in Nigeria, and therefore more vaccines will come into Nasarawa State.
Government officials and residents of the state who are beneficiaries are delighted and want other residents to partake in the exercise.
I never have any doubt in my mind about the safety of this vaccine. That was why I quickly offered myself to be vaccinated, which they did. So I am calling on the people of the Nasarawa State, especially at the grassroots, that these vaccines are safe, and please take it with one heart so that the COVID-19 pandemic can be curtailed.
So for those of us that have received it, so far so good. And if you know anything about vaccine, you should know that it's for protection of any kind of infectious disease that you have. So I can tell you authoritatively that we have received it, we don't have any reaction. And normally when you wait like maybe 12-24 hours, if something is going to happen, then something will happen. But at this time, it's over 24 hours, so the vaccine is good.
The first dose of vaccines received by the governor and his deputy would further assure residents of the state of their safety and spur them to participate in the exercise. The High Court of Justice in Nasarawa State, presided over by Justice Aisha Bashir Aliu, has slated March 18 for the hearing of the case of defilement of a 3-month-old baby in Adogi village of the state. The media was agog in June 2020 with the rape of a 3-month-old baby in Adogi village of the state. The suspect, Adamu Yaro, who was paraded by security agencies shortly after the incident, has been arraigned in court by the Nasarawa State government for allegedly perpetrating the act.
We appeared in court this morning to open our case against Amadou Yaro, the suspect and defendant who is alleged to have committed rape against a 3-month-old baby. If you may recall, sometime around the middle of last year, when the entire nation, and of course the world, received the shock of the news of that incident in Adogi village. The police eventually made a breakthrough and the suspect was apprehended. And this morning we're supposed to have commenced hearing to take his plea and possibly go into full hearing of the matter. Unfortunately, the counsel who would stand for the accused or the defendant was absent in court. And apparently the counsel couldn't afford a private lawyer, and legal aid counsel had taken up his defense, but they were absent. So the court had adjourned the matter now to the 18th of this month for taking up plea and for continuation of hearing. And it's expected that on the 18th we should go full swing into taking evidence in the matter.
Caution is thrown to the wind as students of Isa Mustafa Agreed Polytechnic paired vehicles of rector and other officials with stones. They are unhappy with the alleged introduction of late registration fees by management of the Polytechnic. This new policy has not gone down well with students who have made several unsuccessful attempts to pay their fees through the new portal system. They feel they are being punished for what essentially is no fault of theirs. This resulted in a protest by students, and the aftermath result is the destruction of major facilities in the school.
So some students have been struggling to pay since they couldn't pay. They've been filling forms for a long time now. Some of them feel like 5 different forms just trying to put their names on the portal. So without some of them self, they will even go to the ICT, they will chase them out. So that this portal of 18 is something that they just open. So they are supposed to consider. That's what the students are trying to say. They are supposed to consider. Not everybody have the money to pay at a time, and them still planning on increasing 10,000 naira again on top the school fees. Some don't have the money to pay.
Why the students started this protest is because the issue of the increasing of the school fees and the issue of the suffer why they want to pay the school fees, because when you go you have to fill a form. In process of filling the form, you still come with your form. They will say that you should go house, and when you go house you come back again.
But authorities of the Polytechnic have denied the introduction of late registration penalties. A committee would be constituted to unravel the actual cause of the protest by students.
School portal has not been closed. It is open. As I am speaking with you right now, real time, I have 162 students that have transacted on the portal as we are speaking, as the protest was going on. So if the portal was closed, how come some people are transacting? So the portal was not closed. The issue of increasing school fees, we have not increased any school fees. The management has no mandate on its own to sit down and increase school fees. We have not increased school fees. We have not closed our portal.
The protests have resulted in a shutdown of academic activities for 1 week. Security has been beefed up within and around the school premises to forestall any further breakdown of law and order. Meanwhile, Nasarawa state government says it will sanction students of Isa Mustafa Agwe Polytechnic involved in the violent protests that resulted in the destruction of properties in the school. This was the position of Governor Abdullahi Sule when he carried out an on-the-spot assessment of damages at the Polytechnic. Governor Sule promised to deal decisively with anyone fingered in the violent protests. So far, 27 persons have been arrested in connection with the crime.
And I will have been happier if the student government is not part of this. At the time, other hooligans were doing this, and we have majority of the students on one side fighting them. That will have sent the signal and will have convinced me that you also mean well. Because sometimes when there is a mob action, a lot of people who don't want to join actually join, and that happens. But as student government officials, I'm sure you will know what to do. You see, we were all students at one point or the other. So whoever has done this does not mean well for you students, does not mean well for Nasarawa State, definitely, because Nasarawa State is backwards in education. If you look at the index of where we are in education, that is what is killing me, that I'm fighting so hard, trying to bring Nasarawa up. Because each time we sit down to discuss about situation, Nasarawa is backwards. And then as backwards as we are, somebody will take us more backwards. And the people mean well, they don't mean well for Nasarawa. So if you know them and they are amongst you, even if it is my son, please bring the name of that son up. And you will see how I will take it. Because we cannot entertain this. That's why I say I hope you, the officials of student government that you are talking really. I was told some of them are targeting ICT because they are the ones who are printing receipts on their own, so they want to continue with the fraud of the receipts. That's the reason why they are targeting anything ICT. Fine. If that is the case, then what brings about destruction of boreholes?
The commander of the 4th Special Forces, Doma, in Nasarawa State, Major General Monde Gazama, has handed over to a new commander, Brigadier General Louis Lepdong. The outgoing commander assumed office when the entire North Central Zone was bedeviled by banditry, kidnapping, terrorism, and armed robbery. The command under his watch was able to track down some notorious terrorists and restore normalcy back to the affected areas. Prominent among these was the killing of Tewasi Akwaza, popularly known as Ghana, Boji Bazamfari, among others. Major General Gazama will now resume duty as a senior research fellow at the Nigeria Army Resource Center.
You are not going anywhere when you say for every beginning there is an end. People like you, General Gazama, you are not going to see an end here, because the reason is this country, especially at a time like this, need your services. And when you are in the special forces, you don't have a base really. Everywhere else is your base, because they can call you for assignment anywhere. Even when you were here in Doma, sometimes I will hear that you are in Katsina, you are in Sokoto, you are in Zamfara, you are in this. So as a result, even though you may not be here, I think General Lewis will find you all the time, because you have done something different since you came. You came in at a time that we are just constructing the base, where you are operating, and you are taking it as an engineer and started working on it and moving back and forth. I don't know whether you are a lawyer or accountant, but believe me, you became an engineer in that profession, and you were the one telling me this building is not meeting standard, that one is not doing that. For me, that's the way I work, and that's why I enjoy people working like that. So I sincerely thank you.
It's nostalgic because missing the home of the unconquerables to someone like me is something that I will say nothing other than is the normal norm for one to serve and relocate. But I'm still part and parcel of the special forces, come rain, come shine. I'm just going as a senior research fellow, and I assure you that whatsoever that we have not done right, when I get back to the headquarters where I'm going to be a research fellow, I will work towards solving it. And I assure you, the person coming to take over from me, General Lewis, is well trained as I am. We have operated together both practically in the field since when we were kids, and he's somebody that will do even better than I have done. So be rest assured that my departure from the home of the Special Forces is just like a shift of one leg, and Lewis will do better.
Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule is set to establish a commodity marketing board as part of his administration's move to explore the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. This is aimed at increasing the internally generated revenue of the state and create job opportunities for the teeming youth population. Governor Sule disclosed this at the Government House Lafia when he played host to the delegation of the National Action Committee of the organization. The team were in the state as part of their nationwide awareness and sensitization tour. This is in line with the committee's mandate to prepare Nigerians to take advantage of the single continental market while mitigating its threats to the Nigerian economy.
Right now, we have concluded all the paperwork, all the consultations to setting up our commodities market or commodities board in Nasarawa State. And I'm sure it goes very well with the trade, the African trade area of the African Free Trade Zone we're talking about. Not only that, we've just recently established a Nasarawa State Investment Development Agency, which we are going to use as far as our investments and development activities are concerned in Nasarawa State.
As we may know, ACTA Agreement seeks to create a single market for many Nigerian goods and services as part of efforts to deepen the economic integration amongst African countries. The opportunity we have been presented with by the agreement is access to a single market in Africa with a population of 1.2 billion people and a combined gross domestic product GDP of $3.4 trillion. Nigeria signed the agreement on the 7th of July 2019 in Niamey, Niger Republic, and subsequently submitted her instrument of ratification on 5th December 2020 at the A Commission, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
So the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement is a program that seeks to promote trade amongst African countries, and it seeks to make trade easier, more profitable amongst African countries than trade between African countries and others. How? It will remove duties on goods made in Africa goods.
Just recently, Nasarawa State received about 61,000 vaccines from the federal government. What are the categories of people that are expected to benefit from these vaccines?
Thank you very much for that very wonderful question. Just like you said, we received over 61,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccine, specifically the AstraZeneca vaccine. Got into the state Tuesday precisely, and Wednesday we started the flag up. The category of people that are supposed to receive this vaccine in the first phase are the frontline health workers. These were chosen based on the national guideline because these are people that are most at risk to get this COVID-19 vaccine, COVID-19 infection. So because of that, we are following the national timetable or schedule that it will come in 4 phases. The first phase will be that of the frontline health workers, and as you can see, when we received the vaccine on Tuesday, by Wednesday we're in specialist hospital where the biggest and the largest isolation center is situated in the state, and you can see clearly that the CMD, who is the head of the establishment of the institution, came and received the vaccine. The director of public health, my director, myself, all came out to receive this vaccine. And why we did that is just to demonstrate to the public that they should have confidence in us and that the vaccine is safe and everybody can take it. And that really spiked a reaction, and a positive reaction anyway, that people in the state are now willing to come and take in this vaccine. And on Thursday, as you can see, the governor himself, the deputy governor, the commissioner of health, and all the frontline political leaders in the state came in government house, received this vaccine, and as I can tell you now that all of them are up and doing their normal job. So the line of this vaccination is the frontline health workers, followed by those that are above 50 and with comorbidities, then followed by other groups. So we are going to abide by this national guideline or national schedule to ensure that yes, after the frontline health workers, the political leaders, political class, the security, the health institutions, then those above the age of 50, they will not talk about those that are below the age of 50 with comorbidity, then others. So those are the phases in which we're going to vaccinate in Nasarawa State. And I think by and large we are doing very well.
All right, let's look at storage and distribution. We want to look at how do you hope to distribute this to the hinterland, and how do you hope to keep these drugs safe? Because we learned that there is a particular temperature that should keep these drugs.
Thank you very much for that wonderful question. Talking about the issue of storage, the state's cold store has the capacity to store over 4 million doses of this COVID-19 vaccine. That's to tell you that we have the capacity to store that at the state cold store. And again, the total number of doses that we receive can be stored in just about 4 or 5 SDDs to maintain the normal temperature of +3 to +8. We have over 200 solar drive refrigerators across the state. They are spread across the ward. Nasarawa State has about 147 wards, and each of these wards has a functional SDD that has the capacity to store this vaccine at optimal temperature. So talking about the capacity, I think we do have the capacity. And again, also talking about capacity, you can't talk about the capacity of storage without talking about capacity to administer the vaccination. We've done the national training, we've done the state training, we've done the local training, and we've even trained those that will supervise and facilitate the activity at the local government and the world level.
All right, let's look at the issue of perception. Perception has always been an issue when it comes to vaccination in Nigeria. Now it is even more so, because a lot of persons feel that these vaccines are dangerous to the health of Nigerians. What are you doing to reorientate the people on this issue?
Thank you very much. See, when ahead of the coming of this vaccine, the confusion around the vaccination is very high. There was tension, there was this inconsistency. But to my utmost surprise, after we have started on Wednesday, on Thursday, I have a lot of pressure across the state now. People are willing to come to take this vaccine. In fact, if we are going to go by the pressure that we're having at the state now, I don't think the number of doses that we have in the state will be sufficient. So what we're trying to do now, the State Technical Working Group Committee, which I chair, is working to bring out schedules so that we can inoculate based on our schedule, so that we don't end wasting the vaccine. That is one. Or we don't end giving those that do not need it in the first phase. So there's a strategy in place. Like next week now, we're going to start with the House of Assembly, the traditional rulers, the health institution, the educational institution, university, polytechnic, and the security agencies. This is how we intend to go about it. We've asked various institutions to send in the list of the management staff, the core management staff, so that we can vaccinate the management staff of those establishments, followed by the regular staff within each of these establishments. And I believe if we're able to do that, the number of doses that we have in the state will be able to go around. Because looking at the number of health workers in Nasarawa State, I don't think we're up to 20,000 health workers in Nasarawa State. And if we're not up to 20,000, give and take 10,000 health workers. So we have earmarked 10,000 doses for health workers. So that is how we at the committee start to decide how we should do this vaccine that we receive in the first phase in the state.
Any other information we need to know about the administration of the vaccine in the state?
I don't think there's much problem since we started this vaccination, because it's expected that because of resistance and hesitancy and speculation in the social media, we will have a lot of adverse effects following the immunization. But lo and behold, very few complaints we've gotten from those that have received this vaccine, cutting across the issue of mild pains at the site of injection, which is expected with any vaccine. So what we advise them to do is, once you notice that maybe you have some weakness or pain at the site of injection, and maybe you feel a little bit weak, just take analgesic. Paracetamol will do it, and you'll be okay.
Thank you very much. We do appreciate it. Thank you.